Organ donation in the UK has been transformed in the past decade, with the number of donations almost doubling. But there's still a shortage of donors from Black and Asian communities, despite patients from these backgrounds being more likely to need a transplant. And that's because these groups are more susceptible to illnesses such as diabetes and hypertension, which may then result in organ failure. Adina Campbell, our Community Affairs correspondent, has this special report.
I've had kidney failure for quite a while, since I was 23. I'm 38 now.
Ashley's kidneys are now only working at 5%. She runs a support group for people with similar experiences and is hoping to find a donor. Like Ashley, nearly a third of those on the active transplant list are either Black or Asian. And people from these communities wait an extra year compared with white patients.
Put it right under your eyes.
Ashley's had to scale back her work as a makeup artist because her health is deteriorating. Ethnicity matters because donors from similar backgrounds are more likely to be a closer match.
I find like other races, they understand it a lot more, and it's like it's a given to be on a transplant, being a donor. It's a given, but then within my communities, it's not a given.
Unlike many people from minority groups, Bharti Pithia was an organ donor. She collapsed at home and died in hospital 3 months ago.
She was in hospital ICU unit for 5-6 days. But in my mind, the damage was already done here before we went to hospital. I didn't even know she was an organ donor. I found out when I offered her organs in the hospital.
Relatives have the final say about organ donation, but only half as many families of potential Black and Asian donors give their permission compared with white families, which means only 4% of deceased donors overall are from minority groups.
As a Hindu, we cremate the body. So that was my logic at the time. We're going to burn what we don't need. She was a giver all her life. Why deny her the last opportunity?
When we pass away from this world.
Discussions about organ donation are already happening at this Sikh Gurdwara in Luton. Professor Gert Randauer wrote an action plan for the NHS 5 years ago, looking at how to improve donation rates among ethnic minorities.
There are perceived cultural and religious barriers, but the biggest issue is a lack of trust in the healthcare system, where people don't trust establishments.
Another option is more transplants from living donors. Prafula Shah donated one of her kidneys in March this year at the Royal Free Hospital in London.
My motivation is my niece, who's been waiting for a kidney for 2 years. I wasn't a direct match for her, so we're doing this through the kidney sharing scheme. So my kidney is going to go to somebody who's been waiting for a while as well, and my niece is getting a kidney as well.
In the last few minutes, Prafula has been put to sleep. All the final preparations are being made, and the surgery itself should take just over 2 hours. People from minority groups are more likely to need an organ transplant because they're at greater risk of developing medical conditions. And this is Prafula's kidney, now on its way to help someone else. 3 weeks later, back at home, both Prafula and her niece Shakti are recovering well and are now planning a holiday with their family.
I've not felt this energetic and sort of clear-headed for years.
Shakti and I have always been very close, and I think this has even brought us closer together. I don't have any children of my own, so I think she's my little. Yes, definitely.
Adina Campbell, BBC News.